Before we begin, I want you to take a breath and notice something simple. You do not owe the world your explanations, and you do not need to keep proving who you are to people who are not building your life with you. This episode will show you why focusing on yourself and staying silent in 2026 will protect your peace, sharpen your discipline, and rebuild your self-respect from the inside out. And if messages like this help you stay grounded and powerful, take a moment to subscribe to Stoic Legacy because it helps this work reach more people who need it just like you. Now let us begin. Part 1. Silence is power. When you know who you are is the truth that changes everything, because there are two kinds of silence and only one of them builds you. One silence comes from fear, the kind where you bite your tongue because you doubt yourself. It feels tight, small, shaky. The other silence comes from strength, the kind where you could speak but you choose not to because you no longer feel the need to prove anything. Most people confuse these two, and that confusion keeps them stuck. They think silence means weakness because they have only known the fearful version of it. But real silence is control. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you no longer tolerate. Stoic silence protects you from wasting energy on arguments that do not matter, on people who misjudge you, on reactions that drain you. Epictetus warned that the moment you need someone else to make you feel steady, you hand them the keys to your peace. Silence keeps those keys with you. Silence keeps your mind clean. Silence stops you from performing for attention. And once you feel this stronger silence, something shifts. You stop explaining yourself. You stop defending every choice. You stop reacting to every pull. You move in calm, and calm becomes your advantage. This is how silence becomes power, not because you hide, but because you stay rooted while everyone else is pulled around by noise. Part 2. Stop performing and let boundaries speak, because the moment you start over-explaining, your boundary stops being a boundary and becomes a request. Most people soften their limits because they want to seem kind, fair, easy to deal with. But all that softness quietly sends another message underneath. Please accept this. Please do not be upset. Please still like me. And once your boundary depends on being liked, it collapses. Stoic strength comes from the opposite approach. You decide what is acceptable in private first, so you do not react from fear in the moment. You stop shaping yourself to fit other people's moods. You stop bending to avoid discomfort. You stop turning every no into a long speech. Marcus Aurelius lived by a simple rule: do what is right, let others think what they think. That rule frees you from the craving to be understood. A boundary is not a speech. A boundary is a pattern. You enforce it through your behavior, not your explanations. If someone speaks to you with disrespect, you end the exchange. If someone wastes your time, you stop rearranging your life to fit their habits. If someone digs for personal details, you share less. No drama, no anger, just clarity. Some people will react when you stop performing because the older version of you is easier to use. Let them react. Their reaction is not your signal to explain. Their reaction is your signal to remain steady. Silence shows you who respects you without being entertained. And when you stop performing, your life becomes lighter, cleaner, calmer. You stop apologizing for your standards and you start living by them. Boundaries stop being a speech. They become self-respect in motion. Part 3. Your life does not need a press release, because the more you talk about what you plan to do, the less energy you have left to actually do it. Your mind cashes the reward early when you announce your intentions. You get encouragement, curiosity, attention, and a small part of you feels like progress has already been made. Then when it is time to build, the urgency is weaker. Stoicism cuts through this trap with ruthless clarity. Epictetus would say that if your peace depends on how others interpret you, then you are living in their imagination instead of your own reality. Talking becomes a way to borrow confidence, but borrowed confidence collapses the moment someone doubts you. You start explaining your vision to people who are not building with you. You seek reassurance instead of momentum. You depend on reactions instead of discipline. So the Stoic move is simple. Stop narrating your growth and start protecting it. Seeds do not grow under constant inspection. They grow under soil. Your goals need the same darkness, a safe place where pressure cannot pull them off course. You do not owe the world updates. You do not owe anyone your blueprint. Share your mission only with those who have earned trust through consistency, care, and character. Everyone else gets the surface version, the polite answer, nothing more. And when you feel the urge to announce your next move, turn that urge into a private action. One small rep, one step, one choice. Your progress becomes stronger when it does not need applause to survive. Let your work mature in silence until it becomes undeniable. Then reality will introduce you long before your words do. Part 3. Your life does not need a press release because the more you talk about what you plan to do, the less energy you have left to actually do it. Your mind caches the reward early when you announce your intentions. You get encouragement, curiosity, attention, and a small part of you feels like progress has already been made. Then when it is time to build, the urgency is weaker. Stoicism cuts through this trap with ruthless clarity. Epictetus would say that if your peace depends on how others interpret you, then you are living in their imagination instead of your own reality. Talking becomes a way to borrow confidence, but borrowed confidence collapses the moment someone doubts you. You start explaining your vision to people who are not building with you. You seek reassurance instead of momentum. You depend on reactions instead of discipline. So the Stoic move is simple. Stop narrating your growth and start protecting it. Seeds do not grow under constant inspection. They grow under soil. Your goals need the same darkness, a safe place where pressure cannot pull them off course. You do not owe the world updates. You do not owe anyone your blueprint. Share your mission only with those who have earned trust through consistency, care, and character. Everyone else gets the surface version, the polite answer, nothing more. And when you feel the urge to announce your next move, turn that urge into a private action. One small rep, one step, one choice. Your progress becomes stronger when it does not need applause to survive. Let your work mature in silence until it becomes undeniable. Then reality will introduce you long before your words do. Part 3. Your life does not need a press release because the more you talk about what you plan to do, the less energy you have left to actually do it. Your mind caches the reward early when you announce your intentions. You get encouragement, curiosity, attention, and a small part of you feels like progress has already been made. Then when it is time to build, the urgency is weaker. Stoicism cuts through this trap with ruthless clarity. Epictetus would say that if your peace depends on how others interpret you, then you are living in their imagination instead of your own reality. Talking becomes a way to borrow confidence, but borrowed confidence collapses the moment someone doubts you. You start explaining your vision to people who are not building with you. You seek reassurance instead of momentum. You depend on reactions instead of discipline. So the Stoic move is simple. Stop narrating your growth and start protecting it. Seeds do not grow under constant inspection. They grow under soil. Your goals need the same darkness, a safe place where pressure cannot pull them off course. You do not owe the world updates. You do not owe anyone your blueprint. Share your mission only with those who have earned trust through consistency, care, and character. Everyone else gets the surface version, the polite answer, nothing more. And when you feel the urge to announce your next move, turn that urge into a private action. One small rep, one step, one choice. Your progress becomes stronger when it does not need applause to survive. Let your work mature in silence until it becomes undeniable. Then reality will introduce you long before your words do.
Part 5.
Rebuild in quiet, no announcements, no updates, because the moment you start telling people you are rebuilding, you attach an audience to your growth, and an audience changes everything. Suddenly you feel watched. Suddenly you feel judged. Suddenly you feel pressure to perform instead of improve. Real change does not survive that pressure. Real change is slow, uneven, private, and built in the hours when nobody praises you, nobody encourages you, and nobody even knows what you are doing. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Epictetus taught that your work is your own and does not need witnesses. Marcus Aurelius kept returning to the same reminder: do the work, let others say what they will. And Seneca warned against dramatic resets because they feel powerful but fade quickly, while quiet repetition is what actually transforms a life. Rebuilding in quiet protects you from two emotional traps that ruin progress: praise that makes you complacent and criticism that makes you defensive. Both shift your focus outward, and once you start building your identity through other people's reactions, you lose the only foundation that lasts: inner consistency. So the Stoic move is simple. Stop announcing the new version of you before he exists. Stop promising big changes. Stop narrating your progress. Stop updating people who are not building with you. Instead, you show up to the routine silently. You do the reps, you keep your word. You improve the tiny habits that nobody sees. You protect your mornings. You clean your diet. You protect your sleep. You stay off conversations that drain you. You build standards instead of speeches. This is how identity solidifies. This is how discipline becomes yours. And this is why quiet rebuilding becomes powerful. It gives the new you space to root before the world gets a chance to judge it. When you expose growth too early, doubt, envy, confusion, and commentary crush it. When you protect growth until it is stable, nothing external can pull you off track. So the rule becomes clear. If you feel the urge to announce your progress, turn that urge into another private action. One more rep, one more page, one more clean choice. Quiet rebuilding is not hiding. It is preparing. It is creating a version of you that does not need to be introduced, because when the time comes, the results will speak for you. Part 6. Win in private, then let reality introduce you, because the strongest people you meet are never the loud ones. They are the ones who move through life with a quiet center, a steady presence, and a calm that cannot be faked. That calm comes from private victories, the kind nobody praises, nobody applauds, nobody even knows about except you. The victory of waking up when you said you would. The victory of not reacting when your ego was begging for a fight. The victory of staying consistent on days when motivation was gone. The victory of saying no without guilt. The victory of choosing discipline over impulse. These wins reshape you from the inside out, and once they stack up, they create a presence that speaks louder than any speech. Stoicism is rooted in this truth. Epictetus taught that you are defined by your actions, not your claims. Marcus Aurelius warned against performing virtue because real virtue does not need an audience. Seneca reminded that applause can weaken a person by making them dependent on attention. Private winning breaks that dependency. It frees you from needing to be seen. It frees you from needing to be understood. It frees you from needing to explain your path. When you win in private, your identity becomes internal instead of external. And once that happens, silence becomes natural. You do not announce your discipline. You live it. You do not explain your boundaries. You enforce them. You do not tell people you are changing. You simply show up differently. And people feel it. Not because you told them, but because reality introduces you. Your work speaks. Your calm speaks. Your body language speaks. Your absence from drama speaks. Your consistency speaks. Even your silence speaks. This is why private winning is one of the purest forms of self-respect. It keeps you grounded. It protects you from ego. It protects you from doubt. It builds momentum no one can disrupt. And when the results finally appear, you will not need to say a single word. The room will adjust to the person you became. Part 6. Win in private, then let reality introduce you, because the strongest presence you will ever carry does not come from speeches or explanations. It comes from the quiet victories nobody sees. Waking up when you said you would. Staying calm when your ego begged you to react. Holding a boundary without a lecture. Doing the work on days when motivation is gone. These small private wins create a gravity around you that cannot be faked. People can sense it without you saying a word. Stoicism is built on this principle. Epictetus said your life is your proof. Your character is your argument. Marcus Aurelius lived surrounded by talk, praise, blame, manipulation, and he still refused to let words define him. He let action define him, and that is what it means to win in private. You do not win to prove them wrong. You win to prove yourself true. You win because you are tired of abandoning yourself.
And when you live like that, something changes in how people respond to you. You stop attracting chaos because you stop feeding it. You stop attracting users because you stop being usable. You stop attracting emotional games because you do not play them anymore. But here is the trap you must avoid. Winning in private is not secret revenge. It is not about showing them later. It is not about performing discipline for an imaginary audience. That still keeps them in your mind. The Stoic way is cleaner. You win because the work is yours. You win because the habit is yours. You win because the identity is yours. And when the results finally appear, they speak softly but loudly enough for the world to adjust. Your presence becomes steadier. Your decisions become cleaner. Your reactions become slower. Your standards rise on their own. You do not need to introduce this version of you. Reality will do it for you. And the moment you feel that shift inside yourself, you understand why silence is not weakness. It is preparation for a life that does not need to argue to be respected. Part 7. Protect your energy like it is your currency, because your energy is not infinite, and every time you spend it without intention, you are quietly spending pieces of your life. Most exhaustion is not physical. It comes from people, noise, unnecessary conversations, emotional labor, reacting when you did not need to react, explaining when you did not need to explain. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught that your attention, your judgments, and your choices are the only things that truly belong to you, and when you allow the outside world to constantly dictate your inner state, you become poor in the one currency that matters. Marcus Aurelius warned himself not to let other people's moods become his weather, because the moment you do, you lose command of your own mind. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is strategic self-respect. It means you stop spending attention on drama that builds nothing. You stop donating emotional reactions to people who thrive on provoking you. You stop letting urgency from others become urgency in you. This shows up in small but powerful ways. You do not reply immediately to everything. You choose when you are available. You leave conversations early when they turn chaotic. You reduce contact with people who always leave you drained. You guard your mornings and your nights, because those are the foundations of clarity and recovery. You choose silence over explanation because explanation costs energy, and many people have not earned that cost. And the hardest part, you accept that some people will misunderstand you. Wanting peace and wanting everyone to understand you are incompatible goals. The need to be understood by everyone is a bottomless drain. So you adopt a simple rule. Something costs you peace, it is too expensive. Over time, this discipline changes you. Your mind becomes clearer. Your reactions slow down. Your presence becomes calmer. You stop being pulled into every emotional transaction. And once your energy is protected, you finally have enough left to build something real. This is when silence stops feeling like restraint and starts feeling like freedom. Stay stoic and build your stoic legacy.